It is my great pleasure to now introduce Amelia Pangarte Kunoth-Monks, who at the time when the intervention rolled out was a, a very young Arrernte woman from Utopia, a youth leader still, but she was supporting her grandmother, the phenomenal elder Rosalie Kunoth-Monks, who was also a very strong voice. But Amelia emerged at the time as a very strong voice in her own right, and has been incredibly strong on highlighting what has happened with the intervention, particularly around the compulsory income management and mental health impact of the intervention. She flew across the country and spoke in Sydney and Melbourne, and has continued to be a strong voice in the Northern Territory. So I'm incredibly proud to be able to introduce Amelia to you tonight. Lovely to see you, Amelia.
Thank you for having me. First of all, I want to acknowledge the past, present, and future generations of our First Nations people on the land I sit on, which is the Mbandwa, Alice Springs. We're now 13 years in the Northern Territory emergency response, and I haven't seen anything change. Not to my knowledge, I haven't seen anything change to where our languages are being taught in school, to where we are allowed to practice our cultural essence. We had our 10-year anniversary of the Northern Territory emergency response back in 2017, and here we are in 2020, 3 years under the Stronger Futures. We've got another 2 years, and then we'll have a review of where the policies for us will take us. It's very hard to see where our youth is at the moment. I feel heartache because our youth get into trouble because there is nothing. There's no programs for them or leaders who are there. They don't have good role models because they're forever watching stuff on YouTube about how to be a gangster and all like that. It's very disconcerting of where our youth is heading. You just have to look at our suicide rates. You know, it's very hard. I was speaking to my grandmother last night on the drive back home, and she said to me, I asked her the question, how do you see our youth? Where do you think they're going? And she said to me that there are no role models for them. They're in this predicament of where they want to have their culture and be who they want to be and be themselves, but they're also told to just stay down there. Don't move. We'll do everything for you so you can be run amucks and just, you know, not have a future. We'll take that future for you. As you know, the stuff on my homeland out at Utopia, it's Ulpra itself has become the hub town. There is no funding for the 16 homelands to get new houses. There is, what they're trying to do is push us into that hub town still to this day so that they can do mining. There is this whole gap between our First Nations people and our non-First Nations people, but that's not our non-First Nation people's fault. I don't blame them at all. What I blame is their government and their policies. We still are, here we are in 2020, and we're still classified as flora and fauna. We're still counted in the census. We're not even in the Constitution as human beings. We're still animals and flowers. Yeah, that's all I have to say.
Thank you, Amelia. I just wonder, though, if you could share with us, you know, what your hopes are going forward. What sorts of things are on your agenda for change? Do you believe in the treaty? What sorts of things do you think would make a difference on the ground from where you are and what you've seen and what you believe in?
Yeah. I do believe in the treaty. I believe that we need to have this treaty. I've said constantly to my grandmother, I've said, where we are now is not a good place between First Nations people and non-First Nations people. And until Australia grows up, we're not going to get very far with our government, because time for talk is over. It really is. There is no communication with our government who can come to the table and sit with us. You just have to look at what Vincent Lingiari went through. Look at that walk off. And where are we today? We're still there. Not much has changed since my elders' days.
Well, thank you very much for sharing that with us. And it's wonderful to hear your voice again and speaking out as well. Amelia, did you want to make any other comments?
I think one comment I'd like to make is that I think the future can be very bright if we have the right leadership and the way that we as a country need to grow.